Oh yes, indeedy. Grand Rising, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, and everybody in between. This is the most powerful of all hours. This is the Hour of Power broadcast. This is Wellness Wisdom Wednesday. And we have a special interview that will be transpiring very, very shortly. However, like always, we will do our due diligence and make sure we're doing a sound check, make sure this wonderful expression gets out to all those on Facebook land. Make sure I share that out there as well. Let me do a little. There I is. I hear my wonderful voice. So, like I said, this is going out to Facebook. This is going out live to the White Rose Community Television viewership area here in York, Pennsylvania. Facebook, later on Rumble and on YouTube. If you want to go ahead and check out the plethora of videos that is already posted here on YouTube, go to Ptah Shakur at YouTube, and I'm sure you will be very, very pleased of what's taking place. So, like I said, this is going out, sharing this information out. Please do your due diligence right now. Go get a pen and paper. Go get some Izzy drinks and some snap peas, some veggie straws and things of that nature. And I'm sure we're going to have a wonderful show. So please take note. So this is going out to, already it's on Shareef Hamed's page. I'm actually putting this out. Shout out to Roger Meyer. This is coming out to you. Going out also to Peace Elohim King. Shout out to the God. We're looking to have him back on the program very, very, very shortly. As well as we're going to send it to our wonderful guest that we have in the audience today, Miss Cresha Drayden. I'm actually going to be sending that on her page so you can do diligence and actually accept that so we can cast a wonderful net so we get all this wonderful information out to everybody who needs it. So, like always, warning, the information you hear may excite you, may depress you, may trigger you, but I promise the information that is coming across is coming with peer-reviewed science, like always, and coming through years and years of expertise in the particular field. Like I always do at this particular time, if you do have any comments, please put them there below there and on the Facebook. I'm going to do my due diligence to make sure that I check it on a couple times during the program to make sure that I'm addressing any comments or questions people have there. As well, this is a live call-in show. 717-846-5067. Go ahead and call in. Join this phone works. I promise you. We go ahead and call in, and we're going to get into a wonderful conversation. Like always, I believe in starting off with my particular opening, which is an affirmation. So feel free to go ahead and instill this one if you like. Jot it down. Not right now, but go ahead and watch the recording, and then you can get it word for word. It is very, very pertinent that whenever you say I am, whatever you place behind that is what you cause to bring into your reality. So we want to make sure we're speaking very, very positively in this day. We have a wonderful guest that wrote a new book and is actually going to be having a book signing this upcoming Friday at the Skillet the Plate restaurant there in York, Pennsylvania on Market Street. So she's going to be going into some of that. So we're always going to start off with positivity. So here's the affirmation. I know my place in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm in the upper room. God is, God is, God is. I, Ptah Shakur, I pledge to always look for the best in each and every interaction with people outside of myself and each and every circumstance. I come from love, I am love, and I choose to look at the world through the lens of love. I commit myself to choosing the upper room towards vibrating at the highest level possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am free, I am free, I am free. Behold, I make all things new. I am the omnipotent, all-powerful intelligence that's governing this here mind-body complex. I am the presence of divine harmony, always connected to the frequency and the heart of God. And I now bring forth solutions to change myself and to change the world. I am a limitless door which no man can shut. I am the mighty source of divine source in action. In short, I'm your brother. Even shorter, I am you. So what I am here to do, this particular program is meant to educate, inspire, and motivate everybody to find the best versions of themselves as we move into this quadrant of time, which is a very, very crucial time as you can experience personally as well as macrocosmically what's going on around the world. This is a key portion of time as far as where you can either choose to evolve and moving into the higher, greater version of yourself, or you can. Now, those are the individuals I say is on a fast track. These are individuals that already know that they are divine portions of God, that they are not a drop in the ocean. They are an ocean in a drop, and they're doing their best to make sure they spread in love and light to the highest degree, and making sure that we are being the prime example as the earth is actually evolving to another state. If you're on that middle track, you're still trying to discern what's going on, what you're getting from the mass media or even social media, or what you actually were indoctrinated with in your particular schooling, and you're starting to question things now, I would share for you to go ahead and follow the Ptah Shakur series there on YouTube and educate yourself to really what's going on. If you're on a slow bus, you don't care about any of this stuff that's going on. You want to keep eating the same foods and keep behaving the same way, unaware that the whole purpose of life is to evolve. So that's fine. You probably already changed the channel as well. But like I said, this particular program, as you have may seen on different broadcasts, that we have individuals that come out and then express different type of business exploits that they have, any type of programming that they have for the community or for youth. We want to hear from diverse opinions here on this wonderful program, the Hour of Power program. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our wonderful guest who's here in the audience right now. So if you don't mind, go ahead and stepping up. We're going to give a little round of applause. I don't got my sound effects with me right now. However, go ahead and take your time moving up on here. Like I said, this is a live call-in show. You can go ahead and call in. The number is 717-846-5067. And I am with the wonderful Cresha Drayden, who has this wonderful book, as you can see here. It's called The Transformative Power of Habit. Now, I came across Miss Cresha there. And this, I don't know if you recognize this particular publishing that you may have seen here locally in the central Pennsylvania. I believe this goes out to Gettysburg, Reading, Harrisburg, and things of that nature. It's called the National Awakenings magazine. And if you actually would turn to page 9 in that, there's a wonderful little story there about the giver of light. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of read a little bit about this. Cresha Drayden, she's a certified Reiki Master teacher, mindset life coach, herbalist, and reflexologist. She has dedicated her life to sharing her knowledge with others. The giver of light, as you see on this icon just right here to my left over here, is an experience that promotes relaxation, reduces anxiety, and creates balance by removing energetic blockages by using gentle hand movements to bring in the flow of energy. So we have this wonderful guest here. How you doing today?
I'm blessed.
Awesome. So welcome to the most powerful of all hours, the Hour of Power broadcast. Can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Tell them.
I like your little intro that you already gave. You don't really leave much room for anything else. However, my name is Cresha Drayden. I am a business owner in the city of York. I am the co-owner of our Sons and Daughters Natural Bath and Body Products, located in Central Market in downtown York. I am also the owner of the Giver of Light Holistic Health Studio.
Beautiful. And where's that located?
That is located on the corner of Queen and Rathen Road in York City as well.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I brought some really challenging questions here. I have not had the opportunity to go all the way into the book. However, I have read the first couple pages, and it seems really interesting as far as it goes into habits. And that's something I've spoke about on previous programs as well. But before we get into all that, just tell us what inspired you to write this particular publication.
Well, I personally was inspired by my own journey in personal growth. I wanted to make some changes, and I realized that in order to begin to make changes, that you have to begin with the habits, your daily routines. So once I discovered that, I was inspired. Once I moved out and start changing my habits, I began to see how my life began to change.
Awesome. So these daily routines. So what I'm imagining is what we do on a day-to-day basis that we may become accustomed or used to, that we might not really even notice is a major thing. What would you say for somebody? What's some practical steps that our viewers that's watching out right now, and like I said, this is a live call-in show. You can go ahead and call in 717-846-5067. But what are some of the steps that people can take right now to actually start to bring positive habits to their lives?
Well, I think a lot of us operate on automatic. So we just constantly do things automatic and we don't think about, we're not making ourselves aware of the automatic habits that we do. We seem like, I heard plenty of times, so that's just the way I am. However, with that being, that's just the way you are, it was a choice to be the way you are. So everything that makes you up you is a choice of how you do things. So you can change the choices that you make if you choose to do something different, to do this different. So, what was the question you asked me?
Well, no, that's what I was asking as far as any type of steps that people can do. And like you said, and I bear witness that change sometimes is the most unwanted thing to do. And what I've spoken on this program before is as far as even when that pandemic, when that came rolling in, that was just so massive change. People that was normally they would go to work or they will stop by their favorite little spot and get their little ham sandwiches and things of that nature, and because of that routine or that rut that you do constantly with what's called your 9 to 5, you go into work and things of that nature, that because of that COVID shut everything down and shut everybody's habits or their little cycle down. People didn't know really what to do. But some people actually took that opportunity to get in contact with the divine self and actually go into motion with like different businesses or just do something new. So that's really pertinent for everybody to kind of know. So what would you say for yourself as far as the habits? What would you say for someone who struggles with changing their habits? Like I don't know if they're smoking cigarettes or if they're into gossiping and things of that nature. What would you recommend that they do to kind of break from the negative, or I don't know if would you call them negative? What would break from certain habits into other habits that may be more fulfilling to them, shall I say?
Well, the first step is awareness. Sometimes we're so accustomed to doing these things and gossiping that we don't realize that they're habits. So the first step is awareness. Then it's the want to change it. You can be aware of it, but if you don't want to change it, and even just a want alone, you have to be willing to change. What will you be willing to do to change that habit? Not just, I want, I hear something, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, you can want all day, but what are you willing to do to move forward into changing that habit?
Okay, so what you're saying is like action.
Action, exactly. So action is important. It's in the cycle of habits, there is first a trigger.
Okay.
And then it is a habit, an action, and then there's a reward. So that's the cycle of habit. It's a trigger, action, reward. Everybody does things because there is a reward for what they're doing.
Okay.
If you don't get a reward out of a situation, you don't do it.
Okay.
So, in habits that you're not sure of how to change it, you're going to have to ask yourself, what is the reward from what you're doing? You're getting something out of it, whether it's a negative habit or a bad habit.
That's deep.
You're getting something out of it. For example, a drug addict that does drugs, even though it's a bad habit and it has negative consequences, the reward is the escape. So to ask yourself, let me face what I'm continue trying to escape. You have to face it. Once you face it, then you can change it. Many people are not willing to face what it is that needs to be changed because of the reward in it.
That's deep. So even in that, that's another form of a habit, is escapism. And and how we'll eat, and just in my experience, and you can kind of speak to this as well, we're dealing with like generational curse breakers, you know what I mean? Because we are all innocent souls, at least Ptah Shakur believes that when we come up into this world, we have individuals or role models. And even when I talk to youth, I constantly share the idea that I apologize for what my generation has done and the generation before us has done, because as a baby, we just learn to mimic what it is that we do. So we find ourselves in households where the dietary practices may not be good. There's a lot of overeating or a lot of the gossiping or just a lot of just negative type of things like that. So to break those, pretty much honestly, to change yourself and change your own habits, you might find yourself at war with individuals that have become comfortable with you. Have you experienced anything like that, or do you have anything to kind of speak to that?
I know that in my book, The Transformational Power of Habit, I talk about some of the habits or things that we grew up with. There's social things that we do that are habits that we're not aware that we just pick up and we just do them because they're part of our society or whatever group that you live in. So, what was your question?
Yeah, as far as like the just speaking about that, as far as the generational curse breaker, because you just sparked something in my mind. I seen a video where people kind of play with these type of effects on people and actually force habits. They had these individuals in almost like a prank show type of thing. I think it was one of those ABC "What would you do" type of situations, where they had individuals in a lobby, and every time the bell rang. Now everybody was in there. Everybody was paid actors for like 2 people, you know, and it's hidden cameras and everything. And so everybody else that was in the paid actors, whenever time there was a bell ring, people just stood up for a couple seconds and then they sat down. Now throughout the whole period of this particular recording, more of the people kind of went back to the doctor's office or whatever, allowing new people to come in that wasn't paid actors. And so it was interesting to find out that the people that was not the actors was just learning, okay, this is what we do. Whenever you didn't even ask the question of what the bell meant, why you should even stand the heck up. However, it was so amazing that once all the paid actors have left that particular area and that bell rang, people just naturally just went into that type of that mode, you know. So what have you done, or what can you attribute to you kind of breaking any type of generational curse? Have you broken any generation curses? What have you done? Like for instance, I don't know if you have authors in your family, is things of that nature. But what have you experienced in your path towards, you know, changing your habits?
Thinking outside of the box. I'm a very much out of the box thinker. I'm not really part of the group think. You know, you can ask some people certain questions and you'll get the same answers. If you get the same answers from the 5 people, you ask 5 people the same questions, you'll probably get similar questions. For example, if you were to ask about any questions about maybe the election that's going on, you know, are you for or against Trump or Kamala? Yes, the people that are against Trump, they're going to say, you know, he's racist, you know, 2025 agenda, and what else would he say? Oh, he's a convicted felon. You ask about Kamala, they'll talk about the border. They're talking about, you know, creating history, the first black woman. Oh, you know, woman. She's. Oh, some people say she's not equipped to do her job, which I don't understand that. But you'll get the same answers from them.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question would be, you know, it's like when you have a child and you tell them they got to eat peas or beans. Okay. You give them an illusion of choice.
Ooh. So,
you're asking me to choose between the 2 things that I don't want. Gotcha. I may not want an example. Right. So I know the way I think about it is a little different than how other people may see it, they feel as though you need to choose one or the other because of one reason or the other.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's just an example of maybe breaking the generational curses of having not choosing A or B, but choosing something that is
True.
opposite of what's given to me.
Yeah, you have people like that.
So,
Like my father was a Democrat and his grandfather was a Democrat, and so we just fill into those shoes and just start walking.
And I really shouldn't have gotten into political part when I'm in here trying to
Right. Well,
speak about my book, but that was an example.
That was a good example, though. So, like I said, this is a live call-in show here. If you want to call in and ask any questions to our wonderful guest that we have an author. Cresha Drayden has this wonderful book, The Transformational Power of Habits, as well as she is a certified Reiki practitioner there at a Giver of Light. If we could talk just a little bit about that, then we can get back into the book a little bit about the Giver of Light. Can you share what kind of modalities or what type of services do you offer on that?
As a Giver of Light, we offer yoni steam, which is we take hot water and we'll put all natural organic herbs in a pot. A woman will sit over it. The vapors from the herbs will go up into the female, and it would assist her with certain issues that she may be having. We also have foot detox, which eliminates toxins from your feet.
Okay.
We also have infrared sauna. And we have chakra balancing, and yeah.
Well, that sounds amazing, and all of that is being offered here in York, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's on the corner of Queen and Rafton Road, down the hill from the Dairy Queen, and I believe up the hill from the York Hospital.
Absolutely.
Well, that's amazing, folks. Anybody who's listening out there, like we were saying about having the illusion of choice, when you're going to choose between this particular prescribed medication or this particular prescribed medication, this medication I take is causing me to have dryness in my mouth, and this particular medication that I take, causes constipation. But to realize that there is a whole total different way of treating, alternative to those type of things, totally avoid of those pharmaceuticals. And I believe a lot of people, those who's out there, like I said, those in that the middle track, I believe you all starting to wake up a little bit to wise up, shall I say, to the exploits that the pharmaceutical companies and just the indoctrination that we have in the belief of the medical system that is made to supposedly help our body. But keep in mind this: when you have those prescriptions, you keep having to get those prescriptions over and over with. So if they really do have power to heal and to change, then why do you constantly got to keep taking that? So that's a little free one for everybody out there. So like I said, you can feel free to call in or join the conversation that we got going on today. I will say this though, just knowing how what kind of habits do you recommend, shall I say, for people in this particular time? What habits do you recommend to people to kind of get in? And even if they don't have a support system around them, what do you recommend that they kind of go into there?
I
got some here too.
I would recommend meditation. I would recommend, of course, eating healthy, a healthier diet. It depends on what the situation is to what I would recommend for them. Just in general, I would say practice awareness, being more aware of self. When you're more aware of self, you can kind of figure out, is this actually what I choose, or is this something that I've been doing because I've been surrounded by it for so long. It's automatic. Some things we're just doing automatically. I just do this because I automatically always been doing it, but I would like to change this.
Yes, ma'am. So even in that, like you said about a habit to change, like meditation, what's for somebody who's listening out there that don't understand what that means, just briefly, what is meditating? How would you?
Meditation is basically just getting quiet and doing the inner work. Ask yourself questions. If you're not sure how to meditate and you have too much noise in your head and you don't really feel as though like you're doing anything or getting anywhere, I would say just go somewhere and get alone. Write down your thoughts, write down your habits, what things would you like to change, and journal. You can start there if you're not sure about meditation. So journal really helps you get all your thoughts out and things like that. And then you can read over and examine, you know, what you have put down on paper.
That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
I do find that even when people come to me and they say that they are more inclined, because like I've shared on this program previous times before, that we are living in a very, very exciting time to be alive. Who, if you're pulling the air right now, regardless of what your religious affiliation is, or whoever you're voting for, or whatever your acronyms are, just to be alive at this key point in time, to see this transition into the new. So with this new energy that is being produced from the planet, because the planet is actually changing and actually evolving, as well as energy coming from the cosmos, we feel a lot of changes that are going on inside of our body. And one of the main things people experience is you may want to be away from people, and may want to seek solitude. And you may not, you might kind of judge yourself because it's different. You might think, man, I should be around my people more. I mean, I haven't seen my friends in a couple of weeks. We used to hang out every single Friday and go drink and go do this, and so when they have this internal want to go be solitude, to go balance their own thoughts, they still want to kind of keep up their social relationships with people. And so definitely go ahead and do some solitude. Even go out into nature. I find that to be very, very beneficial, going out and just experiencing something new. That's what I'm really kind of getting from yourself, is that it's you got to do something new. Am I correct in that idea?
Yeah, you have to be willing to do something new to get a different result than your same situation. Some people find themselves in a rut and they're not sure, why I can't never get ahead, why I can't get ahead. Well, examine your daily routine. It starts with examining your daily routine and seeing where that you can use improvement and what can you change from one of your old habits and to substitute it with something new.
Mm-hmm. And I got my little homework here. I got a couple habits for anybody who's listening out there right now that want to have a little list of habits and what to replace them with. Because you might say, okay, well, I have these habits, but I don't know what to do that's different. And one of the main things before I go into my list is responding differently to other people. So if you're having a relationship, communication with somebody, whether it be at your work or in your home, and it's irritating. And we all have those people in our lives, and you see that person come in, and we might even change the path that we walk if we're in an office place and things of that nature. And then we just find, and you ask yourself, God, why is this person in my life? Why can't I seem to shake that person? And what I share with everybody out there is that difficult person in your life is a opportunity for you to learn what is actually your trigger, and actually and to change. And so the main thing with that is to respond different. So if somebody pushes your buttons out there and you respond back with yelling and anger, and it always turns into a fight on fight, sometimes it's good to take what Michelle Obama says, is take the high road. And this is one good thing of meditation comes in. Take a deep breath. Look at that person just imagine them as like a little baby. And I've done this. I'll be honest with you. I used to have certain individuals, Mr. Trump being one of them at one point in time. I just get so riled up. And then I changed my mentality and say, he was a little baby at one point in time. Or whoever that person in your life that is really, really irritating, see the innocence in them. And then that'll cause you to kind of respond and not give your energy back to them. But I made a quick little list right here. Like I said, this is a live call-in show with wonderful author Cresha Drayden, who has a wonderful book, The Transformational Power of Habit. So these are some habits to replace. So if you have a habit to be involved with alcohol, you can substitute that with water. If you have a habit of failing, substitute that with learning. If you have, if you're around toxic friends, people that are, like we say about your success team, if you find the 5 people that are closest to you and the way that they operate, that'll show you your future. So if you're dealing with some toxic friends, seek mentors. If you can't find no mentors, check out Ptah Shakur. Reach out to me, ptahshakur@gmail, or just hit me up there on Facebook. There's a bevy of individuals that are looking to evolve. You got friends out there. You don't have to stick around the toxic friends that you have. There's more abundance of individuals that are going the way that you're going. And so last but not least, and I want to see what your thoughts is about this. Well, for one thing, Netflix marathons. If that's your habit, is being up at night and your eyeballs is burning, replace that with some sound sleep. And then last but not least, replace complaining with gratitude. That's something going on here. So those particular habits, which one of those particular habits would you say that you've experienced in your life? Let's get a little bit personal as I'm going to some more questions later on. What's some habits you change?
On your list, what I can relate to.
Bear witness to.
Overthinking. Just a vulnerability moment. I tend to overthink a lot. Like I said, I'm running 2 businesses, a home, a household, etc. So I'm constantly overthinking, and there could be times where I'm feeling overwhelmed by it all. So what I've done now is to break it down in small portions of what I need to do, and I'll make a list and I'll check off what is the most that needs to be done immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I accomplish 2 of those things at least today, then I'll save the rest for the next day, and then I'll go on. Instead of thinking that, I have all this in my head, all this in my mind, write it down and see how I can conquer it little by little.
That's beautiful. So you put it into little bite-sized kind of bits.
Exactly.
I feel you.
In order of importance.
I got you. Yeah, I think I've been to that different point as well, and just living in this society, just seeing the things on the news, and we got a lot of things that we got to consider doing. The fact that something can happen around the world and we can find out about it in like 5 minutes. That also adds things in our day-to-day drive. We were worrying about what's going on in Palestine and what's going on in Ukraine and what's going on with the election. I would call them the bad actors. The elitists are doing their very best to make sure that we're totally just stressed out and things of that nature. But
it sounds like you would benefit from maybe cutting back on the TV and all the news. That might be a habit that will bring you more peace of mind to switch that and maybe eliminate it to once a week, or replace it with something else.
True indeed. Real talk. Honestly, I used to watch a lot of like Seth Meyers and a lot of comedy shows that kind of talk about the news and kind of put it in a funny way, but literally that's still the news. It's trying to put a smile. It's trying to put a lipstick on a pig, so to speak. And so I find that I've opted to more relaxing things, and just like you said, that sometimes it's good to do a little bit of stoicism. You can just kind of go into your kind of shell, and like you say, that solitude, and get to know the divinity that's inside of yourself. Because that's really cool. But thank you for that bit of information. I am looking to read your book. Do you have any type of selections or anything that you kind of want to express to give them a little taste of what the book is all about?
I'll read some parts in the book for you. One thing says a habit is formed when the brain perceives a sense of reward. That's what I was asking you. Most habits, there's a reward from it that you receive. Then you realize that once it's started, sometimes it becomes very hard to stop. For example, let's keep up with your thing with the news. What reward do you receive from constantly watching the news? Maybe the reward is that, it gets you excited. It makes you feel that
Probably validates what
you-
my thoughts about where this world is headed.
so there's a reward in it for you.
Absolutely.
Um, Here in this chapter on page 25, it says, "You're a reflection of all the choices you made, because often what determines how you live is not a once in a while thing. Big things, but there's the small things, like a little drop of water that may be just enough to flood a house. You only need to give the right amount. Simple habits bring big results. So if I say that finding good habits is how you find a good life, rise above the social standard and reach your horizon. Would you be shocked, or will the idea of habit did continue to everything you do overwhelm you? Will it overwhelm you to think that, you know, changing is sometimes overwhelming for some people?
True.
You know?
True. So what you're saying is just do something like a little small bit.
I would recommend starting off small, and small things will eventually lead to big change.
I've said that on this program before as well, as far as the whole nature of reality is to evolve. So if you notice, change is the most unwanted thing in creation, but it's something that's the most constant. So it doesn't really cognitively make sense to be against change when you know change is coming anyways. And I made this analogy, and if you don't change, just even in the smallest bit, that we become stuck in that rut, then this world would run you over. And I did this analogy with my youngest son, that we were both walking down the street, and I had my hands placed on his back area. Told him to walk, and we were walking at a slow pace. And then I told him to stop walking. Just completely stop that forward motion, stop the growth, stop moving forward. But yet I just kept on pushing. And so, with my particular weight and my muscle mass, I was able to constantly move him around, and he was trying his best to kind of struggle. He was kind of pushing me back. And so we find that in our lives, that if we don't evolve and move into a state where we need to be, there's something called chaos. And when that chaos comes knocking on the door, and I've said on this program before that the angels and the demons, they wear the same jerseys. So we get the voices in our ear that think, maybe you should change your job. Maybe you should change your diet, or maybe change the area in which you live around. If you got too many bullet holes and things going on, maybe it's time for you to move. And if you do not listen to the whispers of those angelic voices, then you'll get a little bit more demonstrative, a little more aggressive voice, particularly if you got a purpose in your life that you are needing to express here on this particular plane. So you might have a car accident, you may have things of that nature, that or you may even go to prison. There's a lot of individuals that have gone to jail for a period of time, 30 days. I know shout out to Tavon Parker, Delaney Simpson with the Bros of Go. These are individuals that tell their particular story, and how being in that environment had to set them down. Now they're away from their friends, they're away from their habits, they're not on the streets selling drugs, they're not around the same type of influence in the music, and hence they started to build really, really wonderful lives. And not only that, because you're just changing your behaviors, but also change your mindset. And there's something called ho'oponopono, which is saying these particular terms: thank you, I love you, please forgive me, and I'm sorry. That's one of the things that I've used to help change my life around. And I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to buy nothing. I didn't have to buy a rug. I didn't have to physically do anything. But just thanking. If I'm at I'm having a bad day and I'm at a stoplight, I'll be gracious and gratitude and thankful of the stoplight, or being thankful for a person holding the door open for me and things of that nature. So that's something else small, like you said. It's the small things that can help kind of kickstart major things in your life. So people can check that out there as well. The whole pointer. But back to my hard-hitting questions here. And like I said, if you want to join into the fun right now, I'm going to try to check the Facebook page, but you can definitely feel free to call in. We're going to be here. This is going out live to the White Rose Community Television viewerships, Channel 16 and Channel 18. as well as this being sent out here on Facebook and later on YouTube and on Rumble. But I wanted to ask you, what impact would you hope that your book would have on the readers? And then after that, you can tell a little bit about the book signing before we kind of close out a little bit.
I'm just hoping that it would have people look at themselves and aware of their actions and daily routine, some awareness. Just like sometimes you just need someone to bring to your attention something small for you to then look at self and realize that you're ready for change. Sometimes we get so caught up in, like I said, our daily routine, and we're on automatic that you don't even think about it. So somebody say, you know what, you don't have to do things you're doing that way. You can change. It can be something that's that small. Be like, I'm hoping that it inspires someone to look at their life in a different perspective.
Awesome, beautiful, beautiful. And then also, it says, meet the author, certified mindset life coach. I can't really, my head is in the way, you really can't see. But can you tell where the book signing and when and where that's going to be taking place?
So we'll be having a book signing at Skillets and Plate on first Friday at 5 to 7. Afterwards, there will be karaoke. I believe it's happy hour during that time as well. She's having $1 wings and $2 fries deal going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. In any case you're not able to make that particular event, I had a couple people saying they're not able to make the 5 to 7 time frame. I do have a second book signing that will be at Gather Coffee Shop August 10th, and that time is from 11 to 2.
Okay, so it's 11 to 2, August 10th. And what was the name of the...
The Gather Coffee Shop is off of West Philadelphia Street.
Gather Coffee Shop. Okay. And I will be making sure I do my due diligence later on and actually putting that in the comment section for those who are interested as well. I got one more. Let me kind of go to my little. You got something you want to share before I go into my some more of my questions? I got about 2 or 3 hardcore ones. Woo! I got. Oh, come on! I got a fast, but I'm gonna keep that one in a second. This is my advice. What would you advise someone who has tried and failed to change their habits in the past, like people trying to stop their habit to like cigarettes and things of that nature, or whatever? What would you say to someone who's tried and they failed? What kind of words of wisdom and inspiration would you have for them?
I would say don't beat yourself up. Every day is a new day to start again. You can keep trying. I would say you could also, here's ideas, make a list of the benefits of continue to do what you're doing. What is the results, and what will be the benefits for moving on forward, and what can you expect? What is the reward from either side? The reward of not completing the goal that you set up for, and the reward for it. And that should be exciting enough to move forward, to see the progress that you're making by moving forward. So yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. And that's the key thing is, I think you said you're sharing practical steps, but I would advise everybody that can listen, if you can hear the sound of my voice, it goes basically down to this: you are a divinely inspired being. You are not when I say you, every man, woman, and child that can hear the sound of my voice, you are not an ocean. You're not a drop in the ocean. You're an ocean in the drop. You are an interdimensional being, for one. When you lay down to sleep at night, the greater part of you actually goes on experiencing different things and wonderful things. And it's amazing when you come back and you wake up, you seem to not remember anything. Or even in a state of reincarnation, we are powerful souls that have chose to reincarnate right now, meaning the youth. And we just they come into the body, and we totally forget everything that was kind of shared with them. So the number one thing I want to kind of advise everybody, you have that ability to change. And to find that divinity source that you like I said, you are a divinely powerful co-creator. You create your own reality. Now you might say, Ptah, Shakur, that sounded like a bunch of baloney, sound a bunch of cow manure. I'm trying to keep it clean. I ain't gonna say no cuss words. That don't sound what that doesn't mean. What I'm saying to you right now, even the life that you're living right now, whether it be, like you were saying about the rewards, the life you're living right now, if it's unsuccessful, you are helping to co-create that. You have no one else to blame. Not your upbringing. That's not to blame. This societal system. There's nothing that can stop you. No weapon formed shall prosper. And one of the most popular poems, and I believe it's in the Coach Carter movie, is "What are we afraid of the most?" And to answer that, what we're afraid of the most is not that we are inferior or unintelligent or not powerful. What we're afraid of is that we are infinitely powerful beyond measure. And to paraphrase that, when we're subconsciously, when you shine your light, you subconsciously give other people the right to shine their light. And hence, this is what Ptah, Shakur, that's what this particular program is to let you know personal stories from myself and individuals that have reached out to me over, online or even in person. They're realizing that this is the time to change. And so just have belief in yourself and understanding that divinity that's inside of you is real, regardless of what your indoctrination and regardless what your spiritual practitioners say. You are God incarnate. You are a powerful co-creating individual. And if you don't believe me, like I said, this is a program where you can check everything that I'm saying. Check out the double slit experiments that show that when you actually observe things outside of you, you actually decide whether those particular physical atoms, like this microphone, this phone, and this laptop, you actually decide whether they move into a wave frequency or they actually compact or drop down into a physical matter. So you got powers that you don't even really understand that you have, but have belief in yourself. And that's what even Jesus was speaking about as well. Have that belief and faith in yourself, and then apply the practical steps that's put into this wonderful book right here. And I promise you, you'll have a wonderful experience. So we got about 10 more minutes for this particular broadcast. We're coming out here live on the White Rose Community Television program. And like I was just saying when we first started the conversation, is that if you don't have any role models, and then my question is to you, did you have any type of, what would you would say was a way for you to kind of break your habits? Did you have, I imagine you didn't have a plethora of individuals around you, but is there any one or a couple role models that you've seen to help, foster this belief in yourself?
I didn't have any role models. I just got tired of being in the rut, and I wanted change. And so I really researched and looked to see, how to change. I know sometimes we feel as though, no, this is our situation, this is what we're in, there's no way out, but there is. For example, we self-sabotage ourselves. The reason why you're in a situation where you are, because you self-sabotage yourself. You're not being real. You don't really want to do the work. You want change, but what are you willing to do to change? You can want all day, but you have to actually be willing. And sometimes it can seem overwhelming, but like I said, if you take small steps towards your change, then over time, you'll get to your result or your goal. I know, let's say one of the cycles that I know as myself, and there's has been plenty other, one example would be when you get your income tax. This is what assisted me in one of my steps, and you're seeing the results of one of my change. And when you get your income tax or you get your money every year, you pay off your bills and you take the rest and you blow it. And every year you come around, you might put $3,000, $5,000 on your bills. You get $10,000, $15,000 back. The rest you spend and go on vacations and you buy all this useless stuff. And then you wonder why you don't have any money. So one year, I decided to take my money and I said, you know what, I'm going to do something different this year. I'm going to take X amount of money and I'm going to invest in something that I want to see results of it in the future. Hence came about our Sons and Daughters, the new business that I have. That happened 3 years ago. I took some money that I received, instead of doing what we do, the cycle that we do when we get a lump sum of money, we pay off our bills, we might give a little to our kids or whatever they need, and we really blow it all on sneakers, shoes, clothes, going out to eat. Instead of that, I took my money and I invested it in myself. I said, instead of taking $3,000 and blowing it on clothes, I'm going to take $3,000 or $5,000 and I'm going to see how I can make the money work for me. Because after the money's gone, when you had your income tax, you're back in the same cycle and the same living paycheck to paycheck. And I wanted to see how I was able to, make my money work for me. And it's been going great. So that's one of the habits that I have changed. And now I always put money aside and see how I can continue to still work that new habit for myself.
Beautiful, beautiful. We got some comments on Facebook. We got Chris Butler. He was just saying facts with 2 exclamation points. And Felicia Martin saying truth as well. So you got people that actually this is actually reaching there in the White Rose Community Television channels, as well as on Facebook as well. So you're having an impact on out there as well. So we certainly appreciate you for that. And like you just was saying, as far as we had on this conversation on the show before about reparations for Black people. We never got them, and it was a funny episode. I think it was the Chappelle Show where they decided to give reparations to Black people, and they went and bought like a whole truck full of cigarettes and different things of that nature that didn't. And it kind of speaks to the financial ignorance that we have as far as the lack of money circulating.
It's the habit that we have and how we operate with money. We have the habit of being consumers. Okay. It's a habit of being consumer and just consuming. That's a habit. That sounds like another habit that we just operate automatically and we don't think about. But when you really think about it, you're like, I need money. Why am I constantly spending money? It became a subconscious habit that you just do every time you receive money. As far as Christmas, every Christmas, you going broke. You go broke. You take every little dollar that you had when you really don't have it. You go broke and you do it every year and it's not serving you. It doesn't work for you, but yet you continue to do it. That's another habit, a subconscious habit that you learn from society, and you do it every year.
Exactly. That's a big one. Because we had on this program last time, we had Wayne Sweeney who was talking about his wonderful programs, like youth programs. And so kids need like cleats and they need shoestrings. They need certain things to help them get involved with a experience that can teach them leadership and possibly, they could go to NFL and things of that nature. But if the parents don't have the money because we think that your child need all the newest Jordans on and the new VR goggles and things of that nature, like what are you putting your money towards things that help foster something positive in their life besides consumerism? That's deep. I gotta write that one down. Don't know how to spell consumerism, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, that's a great habit as well. And so, you have any questions for me? Let me. So, like I said, we're here with Cresha Drayden. We got two book
signings.
2 book signings.
One is at Skillet to Plate this Friday from 5 to 7. Come get your book. And afterwards is karaoke from 7 until...
chicken wings or something, half fries.
She has a special going on as well. If you're not able to make the first Friday 5 to 7 book signing, I do have a second one.
Saturday.
That next week, the 10th, at Gather Coffee Shop at 11. And that's off of West Philadelphia Street if you're not familiar.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So before we kind of close on out, because I do got a message that I want to share to the youth, because that's one of the hills that I will die on, youth advocacy as well as the feminine. We really believe that the feminine energy needs to be returned to some form of balance as we move into this new new heaven and new earth, which is written about in scripture. So if you don't know what's going on, go ahead and pop your revelations open and see what's going on. So we got to constantly think about the youth that is in our midst, and that the individuals from the civil rights era, they toiled, they marched, they fought, they sacrificed, they saved. They saved, and they deposited money for generations that they didn't even knew that they wasn't going to experience. But for some reason, after the civil rights era, I guess we believe that, as black individuals, that, hey, we got it, we're cool. We don't have to really worry about our youth or worry about our children. We just send them off to school, the teachers and everything would take care of that, as we see that system is failing us right now. But just really quick, with my closing message for focusing on the youth, we must teach the youth how to budget time, and above all, teach them that time is the greatest asset available and the cheapest. We must teach the youth that the basic motives in which all people are influenced, and show them how to use these motives to inquire the necessities and the luxury of life. These are the laws and principles of creation, laws of attraction, and things of that nature. Even like you were saying about habits and what's called a hypnotic rhythm, which I've said on this particular program, as well, as far as the rut that we're in. No, you're not cursed by God. You're not cursed by any higher power outside of you, because what I'm sharing is you are the higher power. And the rut that we get ourselves in is the rut that we're in is because we place ourselves in that rut due to our lack of knowledge. However, there's billionaires, they understand these particular laws and principles, but we weren't taught these particular laws and principles. Like I said, the laws of attraction, the laws of how your habits affect you day by day, those little small habits. Wouldn't it be remarkable if they would teach these wonderful principles in schools? Can you imagine how everything kind of changed around? So we also want to teach our youth what to eat, how to eat, and what is the relationship between proper eating and sound health. We must teach our children to be definite in all things, also beginning with the definite choice of a major purpose in life. Our youth, we got to make sure the youth, we encourage them to fail early, fail often. If you're anywhere between the age of 15 and 25, nobody's expecting you to master anything. So go out there and fail. Go ahead and try different things out, and constantly, and keep this in mind. You need this. You need this, or nothing that I just said is going to make any sense. We must teach children the difference between temporary defeat and failure, and show them how to search for the seed of victory in every failure. So with that, and we want to make sure that our youth are getting those positive habits. If you're old enough, you realize that the music that you was listening to helped bring you into habits where you repeating songs that is very, very highly violent or overly suggestively sexually, and you're seeing how that is kind of stuck in your craw or stuck in your head. Like, I can't get those lyrics out of my head. Oh my goodness. Why will we allow our youth, your youth, to continue down that same path by allowing that to happen? So we got to be generational curse breakers. We got to hold that shield up and block out some of those habits and influences that influence these negative habits, so that our youth can actually have a whole new experience. So I think we do got another comment that's on there. I just seen one popped up on the Facebook. Before we kind of close on out, the bro James Freeland's watching. Shout out to Mr. Freeland out there. So, you got any kind of closing words you want to share before we kind of close up out of here in the next 2-3 minutes?
Come get your book.
Come get it.
Come and get your book. Come out on this Friday, and come get your book signed and enjoy yourself afterwards, and come do some karaoke. Beautiful,
beautiful. So, we thank you, Cresha Drayden. Like I said, wonderful book, The Transformative Power of Habit. And please go out and get that book. And so with this particular program, this is the Hour Power program, as I shared in the last minute. This is the program that is for the community. So if you have a book, if you have some type of, we also have Miss Riviera. She will be on the next program. She's actually running for state representative, so she's going to be on here as well. But we want to hear diversity. If you're a Trump supporter, we want to hear from you. If you're a Biden supporter or Kamala Harris supporter, whatever. We believe that diversity and talking out these particular things is how we get to know each other, because this is a very key time for us to unite, to actually move into this new energy. Like I said, this new heaven and new earth that is actually being pressed upon us right now. And so, like I said, next show, make sure you pay attention here. Hour of Power every single Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we're just really closing. Need everybody to do what you can to find peace of mind at this particular time. Whether you need to go out take a walk, if you need to separate from your success team and find mentors or people who are looking to, like yourself, writing books. This is your first book. Going into business, going into these new scary type of endeavors, you really want to, if you're looking to do something new, you find yourself, we used to have apprentices back in the day. You put your child with somebody who's already in that field so they can learn those positive habits. So put your child, put yourself around individuals that are going where you're going, and I promise you'll get in contact with the God divine within. And when you do get in contact with that God divine within, share that love and light with just a little bit. Keep that unconditional love for yourself, but give a small snippet of that love and light to your fellow human beings that are walking around in physical flesh, masked as your reflections. And we can do our due diligence to turn these cards over and bring in this wonderful experience that is promised to us. So with that, this is Ptah Shakur. I'm here with the wonderful Cresha Drayden. I say love and light to you all. Peace. I'm just going to slide around. Excuse me right there. Excuse me.